All right. Well, so Trump recently made a statement about the protesters, even going as far as saying he's going to start mobilizing the military against them. So let's take a look at his.
He's thrown his first threats.
Yeah, well, I like to take a look at his full quotes because a lot of news outlets like to take him out of context, and so let's just react to the whole what he has to say.
We've always got to be at war.
Oh, by the way, the intro to this is amazing.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
It's like a show, like WWF.
It's like an NBA. It's like an NBA game. LeBron James.
Thank you very much. My fellow Americans, my first and highest duty as president is to defend our great country and the American people. I swore an oath to uphold the laws of our nation.
Okay, uphold
and that
Minnesota
is exactly
state law. No
what
capital
I will
punishment.
do. All Americans were rightly sickened
So how do you
and
punish someone who
revolted
does that?
by the brutal death of George Floyd. My administration is fully committed that for George and his family, justice will be served. He will not have died in vain. But we cannot allow the righteous cries and peaceful protesters to be drowned out by an angry mob. The biggest victims of the rioting are peace-loving citizens in our poorest communities. And as their president, I will fight to keep them safe. I will fight to protect you. I am your president of law and order and an ally of all peaceful protesters. But in recent days, our nation has been gripped by professional anarchists, violent mobs, arsonists, looters, criminals, rioters, Antifa, and others. A number of state and local governments have failed to take necessary action to safeguard their residents. Innocent people have been savagely beaten, like the young man in Dallas, Texas, who was left dying on the street, or the woman in upstate New York viciously attacked by dangerous thugs. Small business owners have seen their dreams utterly destroyed. New York's finest have been hit in the face with bricks.
Okay, yeah, so he's painting like the mob as like an angry mob, and it's
Looters and rioters.
yeah, and he's like, New York's finest have been hit by bricks, and it's like, did you not see the clips of New York's finest running over protesters with their
I thought
cars?
he was talking about the protesters getting run over. So that's why I was
Maybe
confused.
by other protesters. Yeah, I'm not sure
I
what he's
was like,
referencing.
wait,
But
who's he
just
referencing?
the fact that he's painting it as this, and he's not. I mean, he says he's on the side of the peaceful protesters, but
No, he said as long as we can keep them peaceful, but he's already called them an angry mob that's looting and rioting.
right, yeah. So he's already positioned them as the enemy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, what?
Yeah. So let's keep going. There's still 4 minutes left, 5 minutes left.
Nurses who have battled the virus are afraid to leave their homes. A police precinct has been overrun here in the nation's capital. The Lincoln Memorial and the World War II Memorial have been vandalized. One of our most historic churches was set ablaze. A federal officer in California, an African-American enforcement hero, was shot and killed. These are not acts of peaceful protest. These are acts of domestic terror. The destruction of innocent life and the spilling of innocent blood is an offense to humanity and a crime against God. America needs creation, not destruction.
The spilling of innocent blood was the reason why this began.
Yeah, I was like, does he not understand what shots were fired first?
I know, and so
who shot them first?
it's not his job to be judicial, like that's the court's job, but it is his job to execute. And we'll see what he.
Well, and also like encourage and unite as the leader of one country.
Right.
And
He
be
has
like,
the
I
executive
want
power.
justice,
Right.
So these are the steps we're going to take to get justice.
Yeah. So,
like, why? How did you go from that to like you're going to defeat some angry mob with like
right, and so
crazy weapons?
If you're really upset about the spilling of innocent blood, why would you spend so much money mobilizing an army rather than he
doesn't believe it's innocent.
Putting the executive energy in place to actually seek justice for the issue why the protest started. Anyways, okay, let's keep going.
Oh, I don't know.
Cooperation, not contempt. Security, not anarchy. Healing, not hatred. Justice, not chaos. This is our mission, and we will succeed. 100%, we will succeed. Our country always wins.
Oh my gosh.
That is why I am taking immediate presidential action to stop the violence and restore security and safety in America. I am mobilizing all available federal resources, civilian and military, to stop the rioting and looting, to end the destruction and arson, and to protect the rights of law-abiding Americans, including your Second Amendment rights. Therefore, the following measures are going into effect immediately. First, we are ending the riots and lawlessness that has spread throughout our country. We will end it now. Today, I have strongly recommended to every governor to deploy the National Guard in sufficient numbers that we dominate the streets. Mayors and governors must establish an overwhelming law enforcement presence until the violence has been quelled. If a city or state refuses to take the actions that are necessary to defend the life and property of their residents, then I will deploy the United States military and quickly solve the problem for them.
Okay, so before
the residents didn't feel safe because of the police. You're going to send more police to...
Well, also, it was interesting when he said with local and civilian support, and the Second Amendment rights is like the right to bear arms. So
I know.
He's like, are you inciting
put
civilians to go against the protesters? I mean, obviously...
arm themselves.
Right, and obviously you can defend your business and like your home. But the way he's talking about dominating like the protests and like letting all the governors know that, the National Guard is at their disposal, it's like, how do you plan on solving this? Just by force?
Yeah, he said he wants for justice. And it's like, okay, how is this how? I don't understand his response.
Yeah. All right, let's keep going.
Maybe this is why I don't watch him too much.
I am also taking swift and decisive action to protect our great capital, Washington, D.C. What happened in this city last night was a total disgrace. As we speak, I am dispatching thousands and thousands of heavily armed soldiers, military personnel, and law enforcement officers to stop the rioting, looting, vandalism, assaults, and the wanton destruction of property.
Today?
Yeah. Or today or yesterday.
This morning? Oh.
Man,
We
it's
already
like
have the National Guard in LA. What's he saying?
3 months. It's like 2 months ago. We didn't have enough like testing and like PPE, and now we all of a sudden have the money.
Yeah, we couldn't equip our doctors to fight a real pandemic, and yet we have enough. How much? What to fight? Fight who? Wait, what?
He's deploying thousands of military and law enforcement.
I'm really afraid to like drive into LA now. I was like, wait, I thought there was National Guard already there. They told me that last week. We saw them. Who is he deploying?
No, I mean he's deploying it everywhere because the protests haven't gone down. There's still protests in LA, and they're huge.
They're huge, but they're walking in the empty streets, and it's like they're blocking traffic. And
yeah, but President Trump wants to protect the peaceful protesters and their businesses.
People who were armed to the T that were at just a couple months ago.
Yeah, but they're not the ones causing
Michigan
problems.
Protests.
They're not the ones looting, or maybe they are. They just went without their guns. Okay, we got a minute 45,
okay,
so let's finish this clip.
We are putting everybody on warning. Our 7 o'clock curfew will be strictly enforced. Those who threaten innocent life and property.
Oh, so it's national now.
Yeah, that must be a national curfew. We have a 7 p.m. national curfew. That's like the sun isn't even down yet.
So my kids are asking me if the virus is done. I'm like, no, now we got a curfew. And Dustin's like, what's the I was like, I don't want to inhibit your want to learn about time by teaching you about some other abstract thing that's going to make you not want to learn about time.
Well, just say after this time, the police beat up people, so you don't want to be outside.
It's just like, what is this? I should have.
All right, okay, let's go.
We have a 7 o'clock curfew.
Detained and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Just
I want
prosecute
the
the
organizers of this terror
jail
to be on notice that you will face severe criminal penalties and lengthy sentences in jail.
Just prosecute
This
the 4
includes
police officers.
Antifa and others who are leading instigators of this violence.
He wants to start a war.
One law and order, and that is what it is. One law. We have one beautiful law. And once that is restored and fully restored, we will help you, we will help your business, and we will help your family. America is founded upon the rule of law. It is the foundation of our prosperity, our freedom, and our very way of life.
That was the case.
But where there is no law, there is no opportunity. Where there is no justice, there is no liberty. Where there is no safety, there is no future. We must never give in to anger or hatred. If malice or violence reigns, then none of us is free. I take these actions today with firm resolve and with a true and passionate love for our country. By far, our greatest days lie ahead.
Under a curfew.
Thank you very much. And now I'm going to pay my respects to a very, very special place. Thank you very much.
Greatest days of my life living in America.
He said he's going to pay his respects. We have a clip on that later. But G-Man G says something interesting. I don't think this is about racism anymore. It's a larger, more systemic issue. The majority of Americans are financially insolvent, and most of them are minorities. Most of them are minorities, but also there is an increasing number of white people who are financially insolvent, and they're actually in the streets because if you live in America, you're going to be marginalized for being poor.
Oh yeah, they don't like poor people. Nobody likes poor people.
Yeah, and so it's really it's not necessarily Trump versus minorities. Now it's just Trump versus poor, like because the protesters out there, they have nothing else to do. Like, you know, it's like there's 40 million people unemployed. These people have no way to vote or like get like their, you know, politicians like attention to help them when they're giving like trillions of dollars in bailout. And so
to the real looters.
Yeah, and so the Wall Street looters.
The looters that looted the stock market are like and it's
And so yeah, it's a class war. It's happening in America. It started with BLM, but now everyone's poor.
And you know how many guess who is the majority of people in America that have to go to work late at night that aren't, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Who are the 9 to 5ers?
If you can work from home, it's like you're privileged.
You are, yes. You already made it through the pandemic.
Hi, everyone. Hope you liked the video. Remember to like and subscribe if you want to see more.
Happy 420, wherever you are. Bye.
And if you don't have buds, we're your buds.